students, myself Further Rishikesh and you are watching Lifesciences Studies channel. After this 7 lecture, we have studied about the structural aspect of the protein. From this lecture, beyond this lecture, lecture number 8, we will be discussing more about the functional aspect, especially in enzyme point of view. So the 8th lecture will be segmented in different parts. So the part first will be the topic of discussion of today's lecture. As mentioned in the screen, you can study in this lecture about the introductory portion of the enzymes, especially the properties of enzymes, and the most important concept about the activation energy barrier, how enzyme helps substrate to overcome the activation energy barrier. So without wasting too much time, let's begin our lecture number 8, part first.
Catalysts are the agents which are known to speed up the process of reaction. In biological system, they are known as enzymes, and again they are of two different types. In biological system we are talking here. Initially it was considered as all enzymes are made up of proteins only. But later, after some research, it was clear that there are some RNAs also who can act as a catalyst. These RNAs are known as ribozymes. Here we will restrict ourselves to the protein based enzymes only. In our later classes, we will discuss more about ribozymes in molecular biology section. So the first question is that what enzymes do? They are responsible for each and every reaction which takes place inside the cell. Without an enzyme, it may take thousands or millions of years to happen that reaction. And in presence of enzymes, it may take 0.1 millisecond only. We are talking about metabolic processes here. So what is metabolism? The metabolism is equal to anabolism plus catabolism, where anabolism means synthesis of molecules and catabolism means breakdown of molecules. It is a sum total of catabolism and anabolism, which is known as a metabolism. Enzymes speed up the processes which are involved in metabolism. Let's consider one example. You have kept sugar in a jar in sterile condition. Sterile condition means no microorganisms, no bacteria, no fungi. Just as it is you have kept that sugar. You will find it will take thousands or millions of years to convert that sugar, which is nothing but a sucrose, into the fructose and glucose form. But when you add small amount of enzyme, the enzyme known as sucrase enzyme, which act on the sucrose, within a millisecond or fraction of second, you will find that sucrose is converted into the fructose and glucose. That is the power of an enzyme. So second question comes in mind, how enzymes are capable to speed up the process of reaction, right? Let's understand this in step-by-step manner. In step 1, these enzymes identifies, chooses or select their appropriate target. These enzymes act specifically on their targets only. These enzymes are very sensitive to their targets. So the substance or target on which these enzymes shows their action are known as substrate for that enzyme. Consider one example where we have conical flask which contain different molecules which are of having different shapes, and when you add an enzyme into that solution, you will see that enzyme appropriately selects its substrate only by the structural affinity between substrate and its enzyme. One thing is very clear here, that these enzymes do not contain any kind of eyes or camera over them. So they perform function by the tactile response manner only. Means they identify their substrate basically by structural affinity between them. So after completion of first step, which is a selection of appropriate substrate, the second step is enzyme helps that substrate to overcome an activation energy barrier. So what is an activation energy, which is most important topic? To understand more about activation energy, let's plot one graph where x and y axis are present. X axis shows the course of reaction in forward direction and y axis shows the free energy or potential energy. So we have substrate molecule and we need to locate the substrate on y axis. We have pointed here on the red line because we know that each molecule contains certain amount of energy within. That energy lies in the bonds which are present between different atoms in that molecule. Each bond varies with the energy. So as a biology student, we know that it takes energy to bond formation process, and after breaking the bond, energy get releases. So we have pointed the substrate location on y-axis. There is a reason behind this. We have located here because the substrate contains some atoms and the bonds between those atoms which contain some potential energy, which is the initial stage of that substrate. From initial stage of that substrate, it has to reach up to the transition stage of the substrate. So once that substrate reaches to the transition stage, then only that substrate will be converted into the product. So the substrate at its initial stage and substrate at its transition stage, there is a energy differences between these two stages which is clearly visible here. So the amount of energy which is required by the substrate to reach its own transition stage is known as activation energy. Activation energy reflects the energy level differences in substrate at transition stage and substrate at initial stage. So when substrate is provided by activation energy, it can reach up to the transition stage, and once reach the transition stage, it can be converted into the product. So it is very difficult for substrate to attain the transition stage without activation energy. Let's consider a catabolic reaction where molecules are generally broken down. Here on graph, we have pointed the substrate at initial stage and substrate at its transition stage. So it takes energy for substrate to reach up to the transition stage. That energy is known as activation energy. Once substrate acquires activation energy, it can be converted into the product. So there is an energy level difference between the product and substrate at its initial stage because bonds in that products are broken down. And in case of anabolic reaction where molecules are generally synthesized, so in a graph where substrate at initial stage will reach up to the transition stage by acquiring the activation energy. So after reaching to the transition stage, the product will form. That product will contain an additional bond. So that product and substrate at initial stage will have energy differences. Product will contain more energy as compared to the substrate, but less energy as compared to the transition stage. So in any case, the substrate at its initial stage and substrate at its transition stage will have energy difference barrier, which is known as activation energy barrier. Enzymes are very smart because they carry out the reaction by decreasing the requirement of activation energy. Here we can see that these enzymes help substrate to reach up to the transition stage by minimum requirement of activation energy, and the product formation will take place. The following graph shows the differences in reaction with and without enzyme. So in a red line, where we can see that it takes high activation energy for substrate to reach from initial stage up to its transition stage, which is very difficult task. But in blue line, where you can clearly see that enzyme assist substrate to reach the transition stage with minimum requirement of activation energy. Product formation is an ultimate final step. When reaction takes place, substrate binds to an enzyme, which creates enzyme-substrate complex, which converts into the enzyme product complex, and finally enzyme and products are separated. We have discussed that these enzymes have affinity to their substrate and binds to them. Once product formation takes place, these enzymes will have less affinity towards their product and finally releases those product. Let's understand this with an example where we have sucrase enzyme, which we have discussed few minutes before, which contain active site, and substrate for this enzyme is sucrose. The sucrose binds to the enzyme and form enzyme substrate complex in second step, and by addition of water, which we know as hydrolysis, the substrate is converted into the product in third step, and in fourth step that product will be released, and again that enzyme come back to its original position where it can carry out the another reaction in similar fashion. As we have noted here, enzyme available with empty active site. So let's see in detail about what active site does and its role in reaction perspective. In step 1 we have seen the substrate identification. In second step we have seen the overcome the activation energy barrier. In third step we are looking at the enzyme speed up the process of bond breaking and bond formation reaction. The part of enzyme which is physically involved in reaction process, I mean the area where substrate actually binds to the enzyme, is known as active site of that enzyme. So in the given diagram we can see that the enzyme which contain an active site which is shown in the red line, and if you zoom in to the active site you can see the amino acid side chains are facing outward in the active site, and here in the green box we can see the substrate is located in the active site and making an interaction with the side chains of amino acid at the active site of enzyme. So the active site provides an environment to the substrate in order to carry out the product formation process. So in induced fit model it is said that active site is never 100% complementary to the substrate. Complementary means matching. So when substrate interacts with the enzyme, after binding the substrate, that active site and substrate shows non-covalent interactions, and the non-covalent interaction result into the change in the shape of the active site of that enzymes, and which is the main reason of product formation in that active site of the enzymes. Once product formation takes place, that active site come back to its original position. We will talk more about enzymes in terms of their properties. So the first property of enzyme is the enzyme required in very small amount. As shown in the figure, the hydrogen peroxide are treated by catalase enzymes. We can see the differences in their amount, the result in water and O2 formation. So the enzymes are required in very small amount. The second property is the enzyme itself do not get consumed in course of reaction. Means in figure you can see that enzyme bind to the substrate and enzyme substrate complex get formed and result into the product formation, and anti-enzyme again come back to the another substrate. Point is that enzyme have no effect on thermodynamics of reaction. Means what? In figure you can see that some reactions are anabolic and catabolic. Anabolic reaction shows the bond formation where additional bond contain energy, and in catabolism we can see the release of energy. So the exothermic and endothermic reaction, enzyme do not have any effect on this. Fourth property is that enzyme do not determine the ratio of substrate to their product. What does it means? For example, we consider substrate 500 in number. If you treat them with the enzyme, the product formation will take place. At certain time you will see the 500 substrate were there. Now 250 substrate and 250 products are remaining. The enzyme do not slow down the process of product formation. They just carry out and completely consume the substrate into the product. The fifth property is that the enzymes are very sensitive to the pH and the temperature. Consider the following diagram which shows A where temperature shows effect on the reaction rate carried by the enzyme, and B, where pH effects on the reaction rate carried out by an enzyme. In A, we can see that temperature where enzyme shows maximum reaction rate, but as gradual increasing in temperature, the reaction rate decreases. Same with the pH. We have the pH where the enzyme shows maximum activity is the optimum pH for that enzyme, and again exceeding the pH, the enzyme activity will decrease. So the temperature where the enzyme shows maximum reaction rate is optimum temperature, and the pH where enzyme shows the maximum reaction rate is the optimum pH for that enzyme.
So friends, this was the end of the part first of the lecture number 8. So in next part, we will be discussing more about the enzyme kinetics and how these enzymes can be explained in terms of Michaelis and Menten equation and line your work plot. So we will meet in next part of the 8th lecture. Still take care. See you soon. Bye.